Hi, I'm Gareth. Before I delve into my story, please like and subscribe for more. Let's get started. The day Eric dropped the bombshell, the world as I knew it shattered. "We need to talk," he said, his voice unusually serious as he sat on the edge of our bed, avoiding my gaze. I sat down, a sense of dread building up inside me. "I want a divorce, Gareth," Eric blurted out. His words hit me like a ton of bricks. "My mom found someone else for me. Someone better suited." "Better suited?" I echoed, my voice barely a whisper. The pain was immediate, sharp. "After all these years, Eric? I supported us while you did nothing." He shrugged, an infuriatingly nonchalant gesture. "It's just how it is. Mom thinks it's for the best." I felt a surge of anger. "And what about what I think? Doesn't our marriage mean anything to you?" "It was convenient, Gareth, but it's over now." His coldness stung me deeply. I stood up, my hands trembling. "Fine, if that's what you want." The words were hard to say, but I refused to beg. The next few days were a blur. I signed the divorce papers in a daze. My friends were furious on my behalf. "You deserve so much better, Gareth," they said, and deep down, I knew they were right. I threw myself into my work, trying to forget the pain. My boss, Mr. Thompson, noticed my dedication. "Keep this up, and there's a promotion in your future," he said with an encouraging smile. Life without Eric was lonely, but also strangely liberating. I rediscovered old hobbies and even started a small gardening project. It felt good to be doing things for myself again. Then, one evening, I bumped into an old friend, Linda, at the supermarket. "Gareth, how are you holding up?" she asked, her concern genuine. I forced a smile. "Surviving. What's new with you?" Linda hesitated, then said, "I heard about Eric, and I also heard he's not doing so well. His new wife, well, let's just say she's a handful." A part of me felt a twinge of satisfaction, but I brushed it off. "That's none of my business anymore." "True," Linda replied. "But you should know. Everyone knows you were the one keeping things together. Eric's true colors are showing now." The news was somehow both bitter and sweet. I realized that despite the hurt, I was moving forward, growing stronger each day. I might have been down, but I was far from out. As I lay in bed that night, I couldn't help but think about Eric's choice. Little did I know, this was just the beginning. Fate had its own way of dealing with Eric, and I was about to witness it all. This was my new beginning, my breaking point, but also the start of something new, a journey towards empowerment and self-discovery. "Hey, Gareth, it's been a while since I've seen you at the cafe," my friend Mia remarked as I walked in. The cafe used to be a spot where Eric and I often visited. "Yeah, just been busy with work and stuff," I replied, trying to sound nonchalant. Mia leaned in, lowering her voice. "I heard about the divorce. I'm so sorry. You know, I always thought Eric was a bit off." I forced a laugh. "You and me both." Then Mia's tone changed. "There's something you should know. His new wife, Marissa, she's been around for a while. I saw them together a few times before your split. It seemed intimate." My heart sank. "Intimate? How?" "They were always laughing, touching. I thought they were just friends. But now, I don't know, Gareth. It looks like it was more." Anger welled up inside me. Eric hadn't just left me. He had cheated and lied. Returning home, I called my sister Laura. "Hey Laura, it's me. What's up, Gareth?" "You know Eric's new wife, Marissa? Turns out they've been seeing each other for months, maybe even longer." Laura's voice was a mix of shock and anger. "That jerk! How could he do that to you?" "I don't know, but I'm not going to let it break me." "That's the spirit, sis. You're better off without him." The next day at work, I couldn't focus. The revelation of Eric's betrayal was like a poison in my veins. During lunch, I sat with my colleague, Jake. "You okay, Gareth? You seem off today," Jake inquired. "Just found out my ex-husband has been cheating on me long before our divorce," I admitted. "Man, that's rough. But you know what they say. What goes around comes around." I nodded, but deep down, I wondered if Eric would ever face the consequences of his actions. That evening, while scrolling through my social media, I saw a post from Eric's mother, boasting about her son's new marriage. The comments were filled with praise and congratulations. Frustration gripped me. They were living a lie, a narrative spun by Eric and his mother. I typed out a comment, but then deleted it. No, I wouldn't give them the satisfaction. I met with my old friend Dennis a few days later. He had always been brutally honest. "Dennis, I need your opinion. Should I expose Eric's lies?" I asked. "Gareth, do you really want to stoop to their level? People will see him for who he is eventually. You focus on you." He was right. Exposing Eric would only drag me back into his world of deceit. I needed to move on. A few weeks passed, and I began to feel more like myself. My job was going well, and I was enjoying my newfound independence. Then one day, I ran into Marissa at the grocery store. Our eyes met, and for a moment, there was a silent acknowledgement of the awkwardness between us. "How are you, Gareth?" Marissa asked, her voice laced with faux concern. "I've been better, but I'm getting there," I replied coolly. "I'm sorry for how things turned out," she said, but her eyes told a different story. "Don't be. It's opened my eyes to a lot of things," I stated firmly. Marissa looked uncomfortable and quickly ended the conversation, moving away. As I walked back home, I realized that this was just a bump in my road. Eric and his deception were in the past. I was moving forward, one step at a time. This chapter in my life was closing, and a new one was beginning. A chapter where I was the author of my own story, not a side character in someone else's deceitful plot. Walking into the bustling cafe, I spotted Jenna, an old friend from college, waving me over. "Gareth, it's been ages," she exclaimed, her smile warm and inviting. "I know, right? How have you been?" I asked, settling into the chair opposite her. Good. But enough about me. Heard about the divorce. Tough break," Jenna said, her eyes filled with concern. "Yeah, but I'm getting through it. Focusing on work mostly," I responded, trying to keep my tone light. "That's the spirit. You were always the strong one," she remarked. "Speaking of work, are you still at that marketing firm?" "Yes, and I might be up for a promotion soon," I said, a hint of pride in my voice. "That's fantastic, Gareth. You deserve it." Jenna paused, sipping her coffee. "You know, if you ever need legal advice, my sister is a lawyer. She's great at what she does." I perked up at this. "Really? That could come in handy. Thanks, Jenna." Later at work, my boss, Mr. Thompson, called me into his office. "Gareth, you've been doing exceptional work lately. I'm considering you for the senior marketing manager position." "Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I won't let you down," I replied, a sense of achievement washing over me. As the days passed, I started feeling more in control of my life. My encounters with Jenna and Mr. Thompson were reminders that there were still opportunities and good people around me. One evening, while I was enjoying a quiet night in, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Marissa, Eric's new wife. "I need to talk to you. Can we meet?" the message read. Curiosity piqued. I agreed to meet her the next day. At the park, Marissa looked different from our last encounter. She seemed stressed, her eyes darting around nervously. "Thanks for meeting me, Gareth. I don't know how to say this, but Eric isn't who I thought he was," she began, her voice trembling. "Go on," I urged, my interest growing. "He's been lying to me, to his mother, to everyone. I found out he's been using money from his mom for gambling. He's in debt, Gareth. Deep debt," Marissa confessed. I was shocked, but not entirely surprised. That's terrible, Marissa. And that's not all. He's been abusive, Gareth. Verbally. I think I need to leave him," she continued, her eyes welling up with tears. I felt a twinge of sympathy for her. "I'm sorry you're going through this, Marissa. If you need help, let me know." "Thank you, Gareth. I just thought you should know the truth," Marissa said, wiping away a tear. As I walked away from that meeting, a part of me felt vindicated. Eric's true nature was finally catching up to him. The next week, I had lunch with Jenna's sister, the lawyer. "So, Gareth, what can I help you with?" she asked, her expression serious yet friendly. "It's about my ex-husband, Eric. I want to make sure I'm protected legally, in case he tries anything," I explained. "Don't worry, Gareth. I'll look over your divorce settlement and make sure everything's in order. And if you need anything else, just give me a call," she assured me. Feeling more secure, I thanked her and left the cafe with a newfound sense of confidence. My life was finally starting to look up. That night, I received a surprising text from Eric. Gareth, I need to talk to you. It's urgent. Despite my reservations, I agreed to meet him the next day, curious about what he had to say. Sitting across from him at the park, I could see the desperation in his eyes. Gareth, I'm in trouble. I need your help. What kind of trouble, Eric? I asked, trying to keep my tone neutral. I owe money, a lot of it, to some really bad people. And I think they might come after my mom too, he stammered. Why come to me, Eric, after everything? I questioned, my voice steady but firm. I don't know who else to turn to. You're the only one who's always been there for me, he replied, his eyes pleading. I sighed, looking at the man I once loved, now broken and desperate. I'll think about it, Eric, but I can't promise anything. As I walked away, I couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. Marissa is a nightmare, Mom. You have to help me, Eric pleaded over the phone, his voice laced with desperation. I was at the cafe, overhearing this conversation from the next table. His mother, Mrs. Benton, sounded irate. Eric, I picked Marissa for you. You said she was perfect, she retorted. She's nothing like Gareth. She spends all my money and she's always nagging. I can't stand it anymore. Eric's frustration was evident. Eric, you made your bed. You wanted this, not Gareth. Remember? Mrs. Benton's voice was stern, unyielding. As I sipped my coffee, I couldn't help but feel a tinge of satisfaction. Eric was finally reaping what he sowed. The next day at work, my colleague, Jake, congratulated me. Heard about the big project, Gareth. You're killing it. Thanks, Jake. It's been a long road, but I'm finally getting there, I replied, feeling a sense of pride in my achievements. That evening, while enjoying a quiet dinner at home, my phone rang. It was Mrs. Benton. Gareth, we need to talk, she said, her tone unusually soft. What about Mrs. Benton? I asked, my guard up. I made a mistake. I should have never pushed Eric towards Marissa. Can we meet? She requested, almost pleading. I'm sorry, Mrs. Benton, but that part of my life is over. I wish you well, but I'm moving forward, I responded firmly, ending the call. A few days later, while out for a jog, I ran into Marissa. She looked distressed. Gareth, can you talk? I'm at my wit's end with Eric. We can talk, but I'm not sure how I can help, I said cautiously. Eric's been lying about everything. His debts, his job. I don't know who he is anymore, Marissa confessed, tears streaming down her face. I understand, Marissa, but you need to decide what's best for you. I've moved on from Eric and his lies, I advised, feeling a strange sense of camaraderie with her. As I left Marissa, I realized how far I had come. The pain and betrayal were no longer holding me back. Instead, they had propelled me forward, stronger and more focused. The following week, during a team meeting, Mr. Thompson announced, Gareth, you've been doing outstanding work. We're promoting you to senior marketing manager. The room erupted in applause, and I felt a surge of accomplishment. My hard work had paid off. After the meeting, Jake came over. Congrats, Gareth, you're an inspiration, seriously. Thanks, Jake. It means a lot, I said, grateful for the support. That night, as I reflected on my journey, I realized the downfall of Eric's deceit was not my story anymore. My story was about rising from the ashes, about building a life of success and fulfillment. The web of lies Eric and his mother had woven had unraveled, but it was their burden to bear, not mine. I was free, unburdened, and ready for whatever came next. My past with Eric was just that, the past. The future was mine to write, and I was ready to make it a masterpiece. Sitting at my favorite corner in the cafe, I smiled at my reflection in the window. I had come a long way. As I sipped my coffee, Eric called me a video call, a far cry from the man I married. Gareth, can we talk? His voice was weak, almost defeated. I'm listening, Eric, I replied. It's all gone wrong. Marissa left me. Mom's cut me off and I've lost my job. I'm sorry for everything, he confessed, his eyes not meeting mine. Eric, you made your choices. It's time you face the consequences, I said, not without a tinge of sympathy. I know, I wanted you to know I regret it, Gareth. You didn't deserve any of it, he mumbled, looking down. Thank you for saying that, Eric. But my life has moved on. I hope you find a way to do the same, I responded, standing up to leave. Walking out, I felt a sense of closure. It was truly over. A few days later, while working on a new project, Mr. Thompson popped into my office. "Great job on the presentation, Gareth. The clients loved it." "Thanks, Mr. Thompson. It was a team effort," I replied, proud of the progress we had made. After work, I met up with Jenna. "You look great, Gareth. Really thriving." "Thanks, Jenna. It feels good to be where I am now, considering everything," I said, acknowledging my journey. "Yeah, about that. I heard about Eric. He's really hit rock bottom, hasn't he?" Jenna commented, sipping her drink. "He has. But that's his path to walk. I've got my own," I said, feeling a sense of detachment from that chapter of my life. The following weekend, at a local community event, I bumped into Marissa. She looked different, more confident. "Gareth, I just wanted to say thank you for being kind that day in the park. It helped me make some tough decisions," she said, smiling genuinely. "I'm glad you're doing better, Marissa. We all deserve to find our happiness," I replied, feeling a surprising kinship with her. As the event ended, I walked home, reveling in the sense of community and connection I felt. Later, at a small gathering with friends, the conversation turned to personal growth. "You know, Gareth, you're like a phoenix, rising from the ashes," Jake said, raising his glass. "Cheers to that, to new beginnings and to being stronger than ever," Laura chimed in, and everyone raised their glasses. As we toasted, I looked around at the faces of my friends and felt a profound sense of gratitude. I had lost much, but I had gained so much more strength, independence, and a renewed zest for life. Eric's downfall was a result of his own actions, a testament to the justice of fate. As for me, I had triumphed, not just over adversity, but over my own fears and doubts. My story was a testament to resilience, to the power of forging ahead despite the odds. This was more than just my victory. It was a message to anyone facing similar struggles, a message of hope, of the possibility of a new dawn after the darkest of nights. As the night wound down, I realized that this was more than an end. It was a beginning of a life where I was the author of my own story, a story of triumph, of fate's final verdict. Who do you think was more responsible for the downfall in Gareth's story? Eric for his betrayal and deceit, or his mother for her manipulation and control? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.